All right, good. All right, so to make our logos into stickers, we talked about how we need to make a line, basically to give the printer directions on where to cut, right? Again,
I can't see your screen.
okay, so we have a logo that's like this. In the end, it's going to have these lines around the outside. All right, it doesn't matter what color these lines are, but we do have to have them named in a very specific way. So this one is just going to be kind of a perforated line, and then this one is going to cut through the paper so that we could kind of have a stack of stickers we could give to somebody. All right, so that's what we're going to end up with. So I'm going to make a copy of my logo down here, and so I'm holding the Alt key and I left click and drag. That's a really good shortcut, keyboard shortcut, instead of copying and pasting. All right, so, and actually I don't really need to do anything with this text. That's not going to be part of my cut line, so I'm going to get rid of that. All right, so now I have this shape all by itself, and I could do this two ways that I know of. I think the tedious way would be to go around and you can use the pen tool. Now you notice it's filling inside here. So this is the solid square is our fill color, and the one with the hole in it is the stroke. I can switch these right now just by doing that. So now I have just a stroke, which is like a border or an outline, and no fill. So I can go here. You know, this could work. It's not going to be as kind of proportional as the line on the top. All right, and I mean, you can make curved lines if you click and drag. I don't know how much experience people have with using the pen tool from another program, but I'll just kind of show you if this is the way you want to go. You click and drag, and then when you get back to the beginning, there's a little circle that pops up on the pen. So that completes the loop. Then what you usually do is go around and you can use the direct selection, the white arrow, and you can move these points around if you wanted to get them closer, or you can grab these handles, as they're called, on your curved lines, and you could adjust them. But here's where people have problems. Like usually you overlap the handles, and I don't know, you get frustrated if you don't have a lot of experience with this. Alright, so that would be one way to do that, to make the line. Not what I recommend, but with certain artwork, you may have to do it that way because it might be hard to kind of get the outline. I mean, you can go really close if you're zooming in, right? And you can get that line to be really close, right? So I'm not saying it's like totally impossible. You know, you could kind of come up to here and just kind of keep going around. But what I always like to do is the most kind of efficient way. So I'm going to use what's called the shape builder tool, because I want to make this all into one shape, and then I'm going to find the outline from that. However, though, with the shape builder, it does have to be overlapping shapes. So like right now, if I select these, and this is our shape builder tool, it looks like a couple circles with an arrow. I can't connect these because they're not overlapping. So what I'm going to do is just kind of use a rectangle tool on my shape. I'm going to make a new one that would then kind of span through them. Now I can select them all, use my shape builder, and I just left click and drag through to make one big shape. All right. At that point, all I have to do is, since I just want an outline, I want to reverse these again. So I want no fill and a stroke. And there's my line. All right, so now I could take this. I should have copied it. And I could, actually, let's see. I'll take my shape here, do it the reverse. All right, I'll bring it down here. Now the problem with this, though, is I can't see because it's a different color. So this would be a good idea now to change my color to something a little more contrasty. All right, and by default it makes it grayscale. So now so you just have to go into the color palette and then change it to RGB. But now I can take this and put it inside of it or aligned with it, and I can see that that pink line is going to go around and be the exact kind of contour or outline of this shape. If you want a little bit of white space, there is a nice tool you can use called Object Path and Offset Path. Alright, and we can get a preview. So you could do something like that. And then I would just delete the inner line. Pressing delete twice. And get rid of this one. Alright, so then you'd have a nice little white space around it. But you don't have to do that if you don't want. I got an extra box here. Alright, so that's probably the hardest part of this is, you know, using that shape builder, and then if you want to extend it to do so. But that's all you really need to do as far as, you know, creating one line going around it, because we don't want to cut out any parts on the inside of the object. From that point, all you're doing is you are naming your swatches, or creating and naming. Alright, so as we said, it doesn't matter what color this is. Alright, I have the color selected. Then I'm going to go to my swatch palette. If it's not visible, just go to Window, Swatches. You probably have a lot in here when you start. Usually what I do when I open this, I say select all unused, and I trash them just to kind of reduce the amount of swatches in here. Alright, but with this swatch selected, now I can go to New Swatch, and this one, the kind of contrary from how I interpret it, is called Cut Contour. Alright, that's just going to perforate it though. It's just going to kind of go halfway through the paper so you can peel it back. It doesn't go all the way through. It is important that you have it changed, saved as a spot color though. Alright, so and then that's fine. Alright, so that's going to be our kind of our sticker line or perforating line, and then we're going to make another box around the whole thing so that we can punch it out of the paper. Alright, I'll change my color again even though I don't have to. And then I'm going to say for this one, New Swatch again. This is called Perf Cut Contour. Alright, spelling and capitalization are critical in both of these. If you don't have the capitals and the exact spelling, there's no spacing in anything, the printer will not recognize those lines. Alright, so there we go, we have those two. We would save it as an Illustrator file just to retain the editing. Alright, and then in order to be recognized by what's called the RIP software, we're also going to save it as a PDF. I already have one. I'm going to say no. Alright, so what happens then is when I save these, and you guys will email them to me. Alright, this is our what's called the RIP software. This is our Roland printer print and cut. So what I do is I add the file into here. So this was one of my morning students. It gets loaded in here, it processes it, and then I can see in here if you have your lines set up correctly. So if I zoom in, so the red line indicates like the perforated line, and then the black dotted one indicates the cut line, the perf cut contour. So I can tell before I send it to the printer if you have your file set up correctly. But this is what I'll be looking for there. Alright, so a little bit more Illustrator, kind of understanding it for a production sense. Stickers are cool. I can also do window clings, which we're thinking about doing for like some Halloween decorations and things like that. Alright, so